Today in modern society, life is very busy and we're always moving at a fast pace. It has come to a point where high stressors have become what we used to do so easily, which was networking and having a social life. And it has become so much so that we no longer have the solitude time that we as human beings actually do need just as much as we need to be social with other humans, other people. Every day we sacrifice a bit of ourselves to each other, and sometimes we wonder, why aren't we happy? Why aren't we reflecting more for ourselves? It's because we don't take the time to be a little selfish and to self reflect and become a better human being. Most people these days don't look in the mirror anymore to see what they've accomplished or what they could have done better. And that is what I'm trying to convince my audience to do. I'm trying to convince, starting with you guys, to start self reflecting a little more each and every day. Start off with 30 minutes, then go to an hour, then a few days, and then and maybe a few weeks, depending on if you want to go on a vacation somewhere just by yourself to see a place you've always wanted to see, a place you always wanted to have it calm you and refresh you. Slowing down, however, to start off this little journey, you can start by thinking more self reflectively when you get a minute to yourself. So you can write, you can take a minute in the freezer like I do at work and just see, hey, take a few minutes. What could you have done better? What did you accomplish? And when I get home, I write it down in my journal and then I can apply it for the next time. Self reflection is like a moment where you should congratulate yourself for what you have actually done well. And for those of you who have already started doing this or are already masters at this, you guys can move on to being more productive and doing more, like trying to do hobbies that you've always wanted to do to self-improve yourself. So for me, when I master the art of writing in my journal a little better, because I don't write every day, but I highly recommend that you do, because I hear that great things happen, that you become more mentally stable and a little wiser. Once you've mastered the art of journaling, be more productive and get a hobby. For me, I've always wanted to take up some art classes and then start doing some music classes. I've always liked art, I've always liked music. When you become more productive, you become a more well-rounded person. You become to be more occupied, and then you begin to feel more confident with yourself. You don't seek validation from anyone else. You do what's beneficial for you, and you start to think clearer and better for yourself. Like I said, you become wiser bit by bit throughout this journey. You won't seek for advice like you usually did because you were confident with your own choices. You can think more critically, and that leads to being more independent. And it leads to being more independent because once you've gone past thinking more in depth with yourself, being more productive, and not seeking any validation from anyone else, you begin to take a lot more responsibility for your choices and you mature plentifully. And once you've gained that much more maturity, you become so much more comfortable in your own skin when you're alone. You can still be comfortable with other people, but there's a certain type of person that is always comfortable within their own skin with or without anyone whatsoever. The point being that once you become that much more independent, you gain a certain level of self-actualization. You become a little more at peace with yourself. You don't think of what others think about you because you're not worried. You like yourself, you love yourself, you know yourself. So I challenge you to start today or tomorrow, but please start to take a few minutes just to yourself, sitting and thinking, and then go from there with what you find. Thank you.